Okay, we are live. Hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live.
Swaddy Cup.
Welcome. Thank you for watching us live on the Facebook and the YouTube. Don't forget to go like, share, subscribe, tell everyone you know, thumbs up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Sorry.
Right now, it just sent me a notification that, hey, my favorite show's live right now. I'm going to go tell everyone.
Oh, are we gonna end this show then so we can watch that?
Yes. And be like, come watch our show. Okay. Post. I told my people. Boom. Done. Now I'm going to go send a message to my friends and be like, come watch the show, you lazy bums. Y'all ain't doing nothing. All right.
So what you got, sister? What are we going to talk about?
Man,
today?
we have a good variety as always. We care. So we watch like every movie because we care.
We try to watch everything. Like it's become increasingly harder with time and schedules and the change in theater stuff and screenings.
It's been hard.
Because there's a lot of catch up now. Because basically, before times, we'd have, and we still get screenings, or not as often as we used to yet. They're still slowly building back up. But we'd be juggling screenings, and by the time the weekend got over the new stuff, we had either already seen all the new stuff, or we'd make do to go see it. Well, during the year where there was hardly any screenings, there were a lot of adjustments with work and training and classes and added classes and changing classes. And so now we're coming on the other side of it. We've got belt tests happen. We have all these different things going on. So it's been limiting how often we can go to the theater. We used to go like Friday, Saturday. And the other big thing is we got Sabine, which has kind of changed our pattern.
Yeah, my bad.
She has to be a kennel dog at the moment when we're not here because she can't be trusted.
Yeah.
So we don't like having
She's not there yet.
Yeah, we'll have her a year and like 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something. We don't like leaving her locked up any longer than we have to.
Yeah,
so
I feel bad.
We actually make our choices of movies and stuff now based on how often long she's been locked up, how often she's been locked up. So she's dictating. So that's why one of the reasons we don't see as much. Why? Because we're good dog parents.
Yeah, I don't want to leave her in there more than like three hours or so.
And I know she's fine, but I care more about her being out of the kennel than I care about seeing her.
Now Vader's really mellow. He'll just sleep.
Yeah.
But she's still at the point where she likes to chew things. And it's not okay because one time she got a hold of some irreplaceable Star Wars convention items.
Exclusive items that you can't just go buy.
And at that point, we had a camera in the house so we could see it happening, but neither one of us were in a place where we could just leave and come home.
I was in the middle of teaching a class and got a notification.
I was trying to get home as fast as I could.
No. That day you were at church.
And I was like, okay. And I'm like, stop biting all this stuff.
She'd look
Put
up.
it down.
She'd look up.
Because it has one of those cameras where you can talk to it.
But yeah.
That was like the most stressful thing is watching your things be destroyed.
The worst one.
On camera.
You think the Star Wars one's bad enough? The worst one is we had to go to a funeral for a friend's father.
Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed.
On the other side of town, like 40 minutes away or something.
So embarrassed.
And so we're sitting in this funeral and thankfully, one, they understood. Two, we had a chance to talk to them and say condolences and stuff. Because right as the funeral was about to start, we didn't even get to stay for the funeral. We felt so horrible. And we've apologized.
We're sorry.
We tried to apologize in normal times. But we get a notification. The camera, I look at the camera. I guess the kennel was pushed too close to a clothing rack. And it had pulled this entire clothing rack on. It had half of her jackets and purses and all these things pulled into the kennel with her. It was chewing them. We were so stressed we couldn't even stay there. We were like, I gotta go. My daughter, who's a vet tech, works down the street, so I called her. I said, I need you to go over to the house. And so she came over and saved what she could. We got home and
2 sweatshirts, a raincoat, which I still need to buy a raincoat, a jean jacket, lost a purse,
some sort of scarves,
a scarf or 2.
And most of the stuff you lost were stuff you got in other countries.
Yeah,
it wasn't even stuff you could just She doesn't chew up stuff that you can just go rebuy at Walmart. She chews up exclusive things, so she has good taste.
There you go.
But we've got a year into it. She's getting better. Y'all have seen her cause her grief here on the show, so that's your.
Well, right now I'm feeding her popcorn under the table and it's keeping her quiet.
That's her update of Sabine.
There you go. She'll be with us a year next month. So There you go. Hello, thank you for watching. Someone says we're good doggy parents. Thank you. We try. Don't like to leave her alone if I don't have to.
Yeah, she's. It's been touch and go. We weren't sure if she was going to make it with this family, but she did.
All right.
I'm
going to start with this little movie right here.
Which one?
This.
With yours? Okay, go ahead.
And get it out of the way.
We saw a few that
separately.
Yeah, separately and a couple together. So this one was one you're looking forward to. We haven't had a review posted. That'll be going up this week sometime.
That means I have to write a review.
You do, because I didn't watch it and hadn't planned on it.
Okay. All right. This little movie is super cute. It's called Spirit Untamed. And you probably saw, or you may have heard of the first film called Spirit of the
Stallion of the
Cimarron. And then, unbeknownst to us, because we're not the core audience, there was a TV show on, I don't know what channel.
I think it was Disney or maybe
probably
Nickelodeon or something.
Anyways, they have like a whole toy
line.
You can buy the little horses, you can buy the little girls, and you can be riding your little horses.
Can you make the horse ride on the little girl?
You probably could. That would be
awesome.
A little bit weird.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, so now this is a film based on the TV series.
Now, I know you've never watched the series, but is it like a direct, or do you know? Is it a direct story, or they just take that series and kind of made it into
I think they made it known film because it starts at the very beginning. Like, we're not just dropped into the middle of a season or anything. It's like a full story.
No, I know. Because isn't it something about the horse was her mom's, or her mom was a writer, or something like that?
Well, the movie starts off telling you all this information.
Yeah, but is that stuff that's from the show?
I have no idea.
That's what I was asking. If you know, I'll look it up while you're talking.
You look up. So it does start off with this little girl. Now I have to go. Her name is Lucky, the girl. She's so lucky. She's a star. Okay. And it starts off at the beginning of the movie. Her mom is Mexican horse rider.
What?
With a group of these Mexican ladies that do all that stunt riding and horse riding. And something horrible happens to her mother. And the little girl is sent away from all the horses because her dad's worried that something could happen to her. So she's sent away to go live in the city with her family. But she always feels like something's missing. And it's not until they come home to visit her dad and she meets this horse that she realizes this is what she needs to be doing. So she meets this horse. And we call the horse who?
Oh, so it would be Spirit.
Spirit. Okay. Yes. And he gets into this whole thing about a little bit of animal rights and animal activism because the guys are trying to break the horse like you would a wild horse. And she's like, stop hurting him. And she just talks to him and becomes his friend. And then you find out there's a group of bad hombres. They're horse wranglers and they're like doing stuff. So, I mean, it's a cute little movie.
Did you say bad hombres?
There's some bad hombres. Yeah, because we're in Spanish times.
I got you.
So there's some Espanol. Anyways, I think it is the cutest little movie. I did get a little teary-eyed and cried when we thought that her and Spirit weren't going to make it. And yeah, I can't tell you what happens because something happens dramatically in the movie. But it's a really good movie, actually. And I like the little animation. I know it's different.
I'm hit and miss with that. Yeah, the original one is traditional 2D animation.
Yeah.
I was a little hit and miss. I thought all the trailers just looked cheap. But it made me realize once I knew it was based off the Netflix series, I'm like, okay, that's why this looks like a TV show more than it does a film.
And it's super cute.
And it says that this is both a spin-off and a reboot.
Okay.
From the original film, but based on the original animated
Okay, and it makes
series.
sense because it does tell you the entire, there's nothing to the imagine. It tells you the story, and you're following her through the meeting of Spirit, this horse, and then also making new friends. And it's cute that I guess they tried to be PC and every ethnicity is represented. So she's a little, she's half Mexican, half white.
Well, and also something real quick before I lose this. What you would have seen this, I wouldn't have seen this, but it says on there the film was dedicated to Kelly Asbury at the end of it. I don't know if you know who that is.
Know.
But they directed the original Spirit film and died of COVID.
Aww.
So, no, I'm sorry, they died during the time period. But they said that
that's so sad.
I'm mixing two things up. Sorry, the film was started, I think, in 2019. It was finished last year during COVID remotely.
I see.
So.
Well,
it was an interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so she's half Mexican, half white. One of her little friends is this cute little blonde girl, and her other friend's this cute little black girl. So everyone is equally represented. So there you go. There is a lot of English and Spanish throughout, and there is no translation, which I actually like because I think it helps people learn it better. I think especially their target audience, if they're children, they're going to know some of the basic words. So I think that's really cool. And Lucky, the main little girl, is voiced by Isabella Merced, who we've been seeing a lot and who we just talked about last week in the movie Sweet Girl.
She was also Dora.
Dora the Explorer. Dora.
So and I don't mean to interrupt you, but as I pull this, I'm finding more information about the actual basis of the film. So I know that I was a little put off from like, this doesn't look like anything connected to Spirit Style Cimarron. And as we mentioned a few minutes ago, based on the show. So basically it says that there was a series called Spirit Riding Free that was on Netflix, premiered in 2017. I don't know if it's still going on or not. But it basically spawns some short films and a spin-off series and 2 television specials. They said this movie is a reimagined version of the first episode of Spirit Riding Free.
Okay.
So it's basically rebooting
doing
the exact same thing. So you don't need to see any of the other crap.
Yeah.
Because even the series is a different take than the original Spirit movie. It's all different characters. Probably the only connection is the name and the horse itself.
Okay. Yeah, so it is, like I said, you could watch this and just start off fresh, and it does explain the entire story to you. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was great. Obviously, I'm not the target audience, but it was still really cute. So your kids should watch it. It's super cute. And
does the horse talk in this movie?
No.
Because in the original movie, the horse talked.
No, in this...
Because it was about the horse. It wasn't about other people. Because Matt Damon played Spirit in the original.
This is actually a story about her, about the little girl.
It just happened to be a horse. It's more like a Black Beauty.
Black Beauty.
Hey! Black Beauty kind of thing.
Not a movie we're talking about.
Yeah. Black Beauty kind of thing.
Is there a movie called Black Beauty? I bet there is.
You want me to show you? Are you about to look it up?
I'm about to look it up and get scared.
You don't want to see them.
Anyways, and then freaking Walter Goggins is in this movie.
He's awesome, though.
He is the guy that shows up in
is he the bad
everything. Maybe. But he's in everything. We also have like Jake Gyllenhaal and Julianne Moore. I mean, there's a bunch of good voice work in this. And I really enjoyed it. And it is super cute. And you should watch it, babe. You would like it.
You're trying to get me to watch it so I can do the review and you don't have to. I know what's happening here.
I'm looking up. If there's a movie called Black Beauty.
Well, it's not going to be in
not in IMDb. I think it's going to be.
Type in Black Booty in Yahoo News.
Oh no!
Type in Black Booty movie and see what you get. See
oh God, I'm so scared. Is this going to be in my search history?
Probably.
Oh God. Yep. There's a
Black
video.
Booty lady and the schoolboy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. That's too funny. I would stop.
Oh no, because now I think it's taking me to pornography, which is a little disturbing. And yeah, not what we're talking about. We're talking about a kid-friendly movie called Spirit Untamed. You should watch it. It's available where?
It comes to Blu-ray, DVD, and I believe it's like digital and some of the early access stuff. I think the digital's already, but the Blu-ray and the DVD stuff hits on Tuesday, so you have until Tuesday to write your review.
And also, if you go to our contest page, we're giving away a copy. Could be yours.
That's right.
There you go. All right, next.
And if you really want
went
a copy,
in a weird
we may have an
direction.
extra copy that we don't keep that you want. We can send you to.
Okay.
Unless you're wanting to keep it.
No, I don't need it.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Next, what do you want to talk about?
You want me to stick to the same kid animal theme movies, and I'll talk about
let's go with that.
All right. So, in the same realm, mine is a mix of CGI live action. As a movie that got delayed from last year. Is the sequel to Peter Rabbit, based on the storybook of the same name.
Mm-hmm. Do you know who wrote the
in the film? This time it's Peter Rabbit 2. Used to be called Peter Rabbit 2: The Runaway. I don't know if you're still using the Runaway undertitle or not.
Let me look.
Because
it
is not on the cover of the box.
Oh, but it's on the internet.
They've taken it off. Here's the box of the movie. The internet and everything else still says Peter Rabbit 2: The Runaway, but if you look at the box, it just says Peter Rabbit 2, which makes more sense. Wow. They don't really need to do all the other ones, but it says Small Hero, Big Adventure.
That's like Hamtaro.
I was just thinking that.
Little Hamster, Big Adventure.
I was wondering if you were going to do
that. I loved Hamtaro.
And it's got a great voice cast, a lot of returning and the same people. James Corden is the voice of Peter. I believe you got Margot Robbie. And then you have the real life people that are played by Rose Byrne.
Jackie Q.
And Domhnall Gleeson, which I can never say his name right. General Hux from Star Wars. He was also in Harry Potter.
Harry Potter?
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. And
he's one of the Weasleys.
Yes. So the first film was a little closer to the source material of the thing, but it was actually about the lady that was writing the book, Peter Rabbit.
Beatrix Potter.
Yeah, and it kept things more about on the farm. It was a little more. It was more about Peter and them against the neighbor farmer, and then him, the Gleason coming in and kind of their romantic relationship, not with Peter, but with B. And and there was a lot of chaos of the fighting and the tricks and the traps and it's just chaos.
Sounds
surprisingly,
like chaos.
The first one I actually ended up enjoying more than I thought I was going to, because I had no interest in the movie.
Correct.
And thankfully, the animals look real. It's very much like a Paddington Bear situation. Although I love Paddington, the Paddington movies.
Love Paddington.
But I'm also a big Paddington fan from back when I was a kid. But they, you have to buy into the idea of not necessarily the animals talking, because they're not talking to the people; they're talking to each other.
They're talking to each other.
So you buy into that,
but that makes sense.
But you also have to buy into nobody's questioning why all these animals are wearing clothes while they're
because they're dignified.
I know that. So the second one, kind of like they do with most of these, expands the universe a little bit. The original undertitle, The Runaway, fits because Peter gets separated from the group when they're in town. Doesn't feel, wanted, because he's always kind of
he's the bad kid.
He's kind of the bad kid, but he's not. He's always trying to do good things. It just never goes right.
It doesn't come out right.
Yeah, and this case, it's dealing with the books again, and a new publisher played by, I think it's David Oyelowo.
Also David Oyelowo.
Who is trying to make her a bestseller, right, instead of her independent book. But now it's the publisher saying, well, put him in space and do this and do all these things. And so she's getting all involved, and they're giving her sports cars.
Oyelowo.
And so it's kind of that. And Peter's, they start kind of giving, what's kind of spawns it is they give all the different animal characters kind of an undertitle of like, this is the good one, this was the smart one, this was, and of course they label Peter, this is the bad one. So he feels like, so he meets up with some shady new animal characters that are on the streets. So
street animals,
which then turns into some big bank heist type jobs, and there is a lot of the chaos in, but this one wasn't as chaotic as the first one.
Okay.
To me, it still was an entertaining film. I liked it again more than I thought I was going to. Still had no interest in really watching it. A little more because I thought the first one was entertaining and funny.
Yeah, you liked it.
This one was like, okay, how many of these do I need? I'm also not the audience for this, so I can see it being a movie that kids could really have a blast with. But there's some heartfelt stuff in it. Again, the animals, it's some fun stuff. It's over the top. Again, you have to buy into all that first. Over the top, yes. But it's a decent follow-up sequel. It's not like Paddington 2 level follow-up, but it's
nothing's Paddington.
I know it's a good follow-up. And if those of you don't know about Paddington, do you think I'm kind of being silly? I have for a while, Paddington 2 was 100% on Rotten Tomatoes until somebody decided to go back and write a bad review just to mess it up.
Dumb.
On purpose. Anyway.
Dumb, angry people.
If you've seen the first one, you liked it, you'll probably like the second one. If you had no interest in the first one, you're not going to want to watch the second one. You've never seen either one of them, you're like, then watch them, give them a try. They're fun movies. They're silly. They're ridiculous. They're heartfelt. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll eat carrots.
Okay.
All right.
I prefer the Harry Potter, not the Harry Potter, the Beatrix Potter movie with, what's her name? That's the Peter Rabbit one I like.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
I don't offhand.
Gosh. Oh, what's her name? Lemon Face.
What, Renee Zellweger?
Yes.
Beatrix Potter movie.
She did one about her.
Did she?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Where she was drawing the little character.
I'm
and
sure
then she falls in love with the guy, but her parents didn't want her to marry him. And then I think he goes off with someone else.
I vaguely remember it. I can't stand Renee Zellweger.
Oh, you don't know.
She should just do lemon commercials. Anyway, Peter Rabbit 2, sometimes called The Runaway, is available now on Blu-ray and DVD.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Now I got to go find it.
Okay, let's move on. We don't care about that.
Go watch that one. It's
yes.
much better.
Watch Renee Zellweger draw rabbits.
It's really cute.
Is it though?
It is. It's such a good movie.
Moving on.
All right. Where do we want to go?
I don't know. I'll wait for you.
Thanks, babe. You want to go here?
Sure, why not?
Y'all.
What's that other thing?
That's your...
What is that?
It's the other movie you're going to talk about.
Is that the raid one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But I like that one. Okay, you guys, we've got to talk about this.
So if you haven't heard about the controversial nature of this all, which I want to first say I don't think it's been good promotion because it's made instinctively everybody thinks he did something.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
So it's a documentary about Bob Ross, the famed painter with the afro and the happy little trees.
Yes, somebody posted happy little trees. Thank you. Yes.
Happy accidents, betrayal, and greed. And I saw a lot of like controversial posts about, oh, you must see documentary. The truth is exposed, the darkness side of Bob Ross, and then even the trailer on Netflix says we'd like to show you the trailer, but we can't. Watch why. And I'm like, everything makes it sound like it's something Bob did.
He didn't do anything.
So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know about you, but I watched this movie nervous because everybody loves Bob Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know who Bob Ross is, go watch him because you will love him. He was just, his voice is relaxing.
Now, did you used to watch it?
I watched it religiously when I was a kid.
Okay.
Because I would draw while I was watching it when I was a little kid.
I was always amazed.
And I only watched it. I didn't care about his painting. I liked his voice. I mean, I liked his skill level.
That one thing.
And I liked when he would slap the brush against
when he cleaned the brush.
He knocked the devil out of it. And it'd go. And I would do that at home. I would carry a paintbrush around sometimes and just go up to tables and stuff and do that. And my mom would get so irritated. She goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Bob Ross."
Cleaning the brush. What I loved is I wanted one of those fan brushes just so I could do trees.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't painting anything. I am not artistic like that.
Yeah. I just wanted to do that. I didn't understand as a young.
Oh my goodness! Hold on. Let me go.
As a young artist at the time, I didn't understand that it had to be that specific brush or that specific thing. So I was mostly always drawing pencil, paper, matte markers, all these things. And so when I would do different artwork things, I would try to do some of those techniques which you can't do with a pencil. But it made me kind of expand my knowledge and understand different ways of doing things. So there was more to it than just watching a guy paint. Like, it was also just a really relaxing show. And I don't think you realized how relaxed you were watching that show because you just mellow out.
Yeah, it was because he was so calming and soothing. I think it was in the times before the ASR.
Oh, the ASMR, the
whatever it's called.
Way before that time. And
what's funny is calm.
He always would be. He was kind of like the Mr. Rogers of painting.
Really,
he was very uplifting. He was very positive. He was always giving these little life anecdotes. Thank you. Maybe they are antidotes. He would give these little statements to just make you feel good about being alive or accomplishing stuff. And it's funny is I was telling you, watch this, I never realized it, but I kind of had an epiphany while watching this, that it was probably from watching Mr. Rogers and him. Things that, like when I teach my senior workout classes, I give these little positive affirmations or positive information or something at the end of every class about working out better or being better people or being nice to people or something to kind of make everybody leave on a positive, happy note.
Exactly.
But anyway, so
that's who
we
Bob
see all
Ross
these
was.
good things.
And I think all of us that are at least our age know who he is.
Yeah.
If you don't, you missed out on the PBS times.
But you can see a bunch of them on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, so good.
There's this new documentary. But what is the controversy about?
You guys, it's so upsetting.
So the movie itself is a series of interviews, clips, things, and it is a documentary history about how he got the painting show and who he worked with. So initially, it's a good thing. It's
just telling you the history of how he got started, who he teamed up with, that helped him got a TV show. We're like, okay, cool.
Even how he started painting his family.
Yeah.
Then you get into bad business deals, affairs, greed, literal betrayal, like it says in the title, money, Bob Ross Incorporated, all these things, and you start seeing the different people that were taking advantage of things in his name. And
yeah, I mean, is it a spoiler to kind of just say?
I'll tell you.
I'm gonna throw on the spoiler alert. If you want to turn the sound off for a second.
Is it really a spoiler? Guys, stop it.
Guys, just the fact that we didn't know this, but
I mean,
hey, I'm going to have to throw you out, that the Bob Ross Incorporated Company is not even owned by anyone related to Bob Ross.
No, they don't get any money for it.
Like his poor son fought for it and ended up finding out that it had gotten sold out from under him. And Bob Ross's kind of dying wish was like, I'm not selling my name. I'm not selling any of that. It needs to stay with the family. Yeah. And that's not what happened. So this entire time. And then now I hope everyone just knows, don't buy that stuff. But the Twitter feed, I was telling you, the Bob Ross company, they are like on fire. They're like, we vehemently do not deny these claims. And comments are just like rolling in. There's so much hate. So who knows what's going to happen. But
well, man, I am no longer, I mean, I wasn't buying a lot of it now, but being someone
I wanted to buy a t-shirt or something.
Being someone who buys a lot of art supplies, thankfully I'm not into
I'm taking off the spoiler.
Painting as much. And I'm also not somebody who usually picks a side in this stuff. You know, I have friends that are very adamant about as soon as somebody says something bad, they boycott them forever. Yeah. Or as soon as somebody, you know, something like Chick-fil-A is probably the most common. Well, Chick-fil-A is against.
Well, you don't like Chick-fil-A.
LGBTQL, whatever. I can't remember.
LGBTQ plus.
Thank you. I can't remember everybody.
I'm she, her, he's, he, him. In case we're doing pronouns.
You know, and I support all the rights stuff. My best friend is gay. You know, I'm fine with all that stuff. I have nothing against all of it. But I don't feel like making people that work there, these teenagers that have jobs, or people that own franchises or anything else, to make them suffer because like it's going to make any difference, you know? And so I don't normally, I also don't eat Chick-fil-A.
You don't eat Chick-fil-A, so it doesn't really affect us.
No, but
we don't ever eat that.
I've never really fully dived into something like that because I look at the other variables, you know, same thing with a movie. Like I don't cancel actors out and not watch their stuff anymore because there's all these people that worked on the film and all these people that put their heart into seeing products. And I don't think it's fair that you had a whole bunch of people that put everything they did into a movie, but because one actor made a mistake, then nobody gets to see their work. It's not right, you know. But I understand people that do that. That's just not how I see it.
Yeah, but
this is the first time I will never buy a Bob Ross thing of anything.
Yeah, because I totally wanted one of those Chia Pets.
Yeah, if it has, like, I will buy bootleg Bob Ross stuff. Yes, but if it says Bob Ross ink on it, I will not buy it.
Do not buy. Thank you.
But it's funny seeing the post about people watching the documentary and saying things like, well, one of my friends who's an artist, and he is a painter, so I wouldn't be surprised if he bought a bottle of Bob Ross stuff. He had posted, I never thought I would watch anything related to Bob Ross and be this angry. And then somebody else hadn't watched it yet. They're like, oh my God, what did he do? I don't know if I can handle this.
He didn't do anything.
And of course, it's like, it's not him, it's the company. He's fine. So this documentary is very stressful to me initially because I was afraid we were going to learn something really bad.
Yes, like he had done something, and I was like, oh no.
I'm like, I can't handle that. It's like if somebody brought a documentary and we find out that like Mr. Rogers was a serial killer or something. That
would be awesome.
It would be awesome, but it'd be
not
like,
really.
I'd be like, oh my God, my heart broke.
Yeah.
So anyway.
This dog is begging for popcorn, but it's keeping her quiet. Check out the Bob Ross documentary. It's available now on Netflix. Happy Accidents, Betrayals, and Greed. Man, I want to start painting now, but that makes me want to paint.
Well, paint then.
I always wanted to.
Paint.
I don't know if I'd be any good.
Paint lessons.
But he says even if you mess up, it's a happy accident, and you just make it something different.
And I honestly, as an artist, I've started, when I draw stuff, I don't get as frustrated. I start looking at it immediately of how can I fix this? You can't always fix it, but you know, I try to look at it instead of being mad for 3 days about something that went horribly wrong. I'd be like, okay, what can I change? Can I draw something else and make it into something else? Can I change it? Is it done? Do I move on? Happy accidents make for better art sometimes. Yep. It also makes for want to pull your hair out sometimes. Yep. But
happy little trees. All right.
That's probably why I had the big afro.
It was a perm.
I was disappointed to find out that
it was a perm.
It was a perm. I always thought that was his hair.
That's amazing.
Anyways,
okay.
Moving on.
I'm going to take you here.
Okay.
Isn't that a cool poster?
Yeah, I've never seen that. That's why I didn't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, I loved this poster. That's why I picked it. So.
All right. So the next film is another movie from one of my favorite distributors, Well Go USA, who brings the top tier of Asian cinema, horror films, martial arts flick, action flicks, anything Asian. They also do a lot of other stuff, but they're
predominantly Asian cinema.
Asian cinema.
Love
it's
it.
the latest film called The Fatal Raid. It has nothing to do with the other Raid films.
Yeah, because we know one of you asked us.
Just like Russian Raid had nothing to do with it, and unlike Russian Raid, it was almost a homage to the Raid. This has nothing to do, no connection, nothing.
It has nothing to do with the spray either.
Of the what?
Spray. Raid.
Anyway.
Funny.
I'm glad you found it entertaining. That was the stupidest thing. All right. So, it's about this kind of elite task force, mostly made up of women, and then fighting crime. And then there's like some bad cops, and there's cops that there's history of some people getting killed on their task force, and then there's a person that get them. So it's very convoluted at times, but it's a very generic storyline that we've seen a billion times before in cop action type flicks. I'll have to say I was entertained by it as a whole, but it never really climbed out of being more than average. It's got some good action in it. It was an interesting take to see a full female-led team where it's mostly females doing the action against everybody else, and not just one female or a couple females added and then a bunch of guys carrying the load. It was the females. But at the same time, given I know this is part of the Asian culture cinema thing, there's still that little bit of exploitation because there's a sequence
where
they
overly sexualized?
No, not as a whole. Okay. There's only one scene, and you know how there's in a lot of the action movies, there's those scenes where like they're getting ready to go to battle or whatever. So you see everybody putting on their body armor, loading up their weapons and all that stuff. So there's like this kind of
this dog just smacked me in the face.
It's this kind of circular shot where it's going like this around 3 or 4 of the women. Yeah. And they're outside and they're getting their gear and they're fixing to go to this big shootout and they're getting ready. But every one of them are like in their sports bras or changing and it's like and their hair's blowing. And it felt way more like look at these sexy chicks more than it looked like look at these badass chicks getting ready. And it wasn't so bad where it was like throughout the whole film, but it was very much like really was that necessary? You know, had they not done the slow motion and just had them take their shirt off and start changing and getting ready, it would have looked more like a group of people, you know, getting ready. But the slow motion in the air and all that kind of stuff kind of made it something else. Anyway, there's some good shootouts. There's some decent action. Nothing that really stands out. A lot of the fight scenes, while good, feel very choreographed. They're definitely not Raid level quality.
But they tried.
Could you and that dog stop making out?
This dog will not get out of my face.
If you like Asian action flicks or just action flicks in general, it's like a cop crime thriller action with some decent stuff, but nothing that's really more than average at best. And check out
I would say she loves me. She just wants popcorn.
And The Fatal Raid is available now on Blu-ray and DVD. And we also, I don't know if we still have copies to give away.
Hold on. I think we do.
Because I know if we do, we only got a couple.
I sure do.
We still have like maybe one left. So that contest is going to be ending this week. So if you want to check it out or try to get us something free, then get your contest in. Entry.
Okay.
Moving on.
All right. We have 2. This one or this one?
Let's do that one first. And that one be last. So we got 2 to talk about for that one.
Okay. Here we go.
So what is this next one, ma'am?
All right. This next movie is called Vacation Friends. And you can watch it on the line right now on the Hulu. If you have Hulu.
On streaming.
Okay. Yes, on the line. Streaming Hulu.
No, that's not necessary.
Whatever. It's on Hulu. Well, it doesn't matter. It's called Vacation Friends. Okay. So it's Lil Rel. I don't know what the other lady's name. Don't know what the other lady's name is. And John Cena. With his big old arm. He's got like the biggest muscle arm, but he's got like a big muscle thing down here too. Yeah, I didn't know you could have muscle. All I've got is flappy.
No, it's part of your tricep.
Oh, dang.
You have 2 sides of your tricep to do this. The one on this side is the one everybody can get.
Because he's doing this, and it's not jiggling. It's like muscle.
And I don't know if I told you, because we talked about Lil Rel the other day on the movie.
I love me some Lil Rel. Sorry.
From him being a Free Guy. Mm-hmm. Did I tell you that he liked your review?
He did?
Yeah. I think he liked it and shared it.
Thank you. I'm so excited. How exciting.
Why are we getting hugs for that?
I feel like I won something.
And why did she get hugs? She didn't do anything.
She did. She's my support dog.
Anyway, moving on. Tell us about
Okay, so basically this movie is about Lil Rel and his girl. And as you see in the trailer, they're at their wedding, and these two people kind of crash in, and they're like, "Hey!" And basically, they had met them earlier when they were on a vacation trip. Because sometimes when you're on vacation, you meet people and you kind of talk to them, and they hang out.
And the lady's names is Yvonne Orgy and Meredith Hagner.
Thank you,
Hagner.
ladies.
I don't know how to say. I apologize if I said their name wrong. Anyway, go ahead.
It's just hilarity. I was worried because these kinds of things tend to stress me out, and I'm not good with chaos. So
she doesn't like things like Cat in the Hat. She doesn't like things like Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit, the original one, it was very stressful.
Rules are being broken, things are being messed up, or messes are caused. Which is funny because she's super messy.
But here, I'm not going to ruin it, but I got. Let me throw up the spoiler. I just want to bring up one joke that reoccurs, and it has to do with margaritas.
That's in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's where they're like salt.
Okay, he's like, man, this salt isn't very salty, and they're like, no, because it's cocaine.
Yeah, it's like an early thing,
and it happened, and I'm like, what the heck? And they're like, you gave us cocaine. We don't even know you. And it's like, oh, we thought it would loosen up the mood. And I'm like, what the heck are these people doing? So those are just I can't. It's too much. It's a little stressful.
Since I know this, I'll tell her or ask her. Okay, are you going to be too stressed to watch this movie? Like Peter Rabbit, we were originally going to watch, and I said, you're not going to watch this, are you? You're going to be stressed about this. She goes, yeah. And I said, okay, I'll watch it without you. Which I think you would have enjoyed the second one because I don't think you would have been as stressed.
Okay.
But this one, I knew the chaos we were going to walk into, so I was afraid you'd be a little... But
it was actually really funny.
And while I found it very funny, I also didn't find it as good as I thought it was going to be. Like, it's not bad by any means. I had a blast with it, and I think the thing that saves this movie is John Cena and Little Rel.
They're both so funny.
They have the great chemistry together. They're funny. I love John Cena better in comedy than I do in serious roles.
I agree.
Because, like, in Fast and the Furious, he was great in the role, but he's stiff.
There's something like his face doesn't match, or his facial expressions don't match exactly what he's going for.
And I think he's still trying to find his way as an actor. But, like, in Suicide Squad, he's great because that character is kind of, pompous and arrogant and funny.
I love him in the other one with
Trainwreck.
Yes, I love Trainwreck.
Also, the one where he shows up in what's the other one with the two ladies with.
You want me to look him up?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think he's just better at comedy.
He is. He's so funny
and
too.
He always goes all in, and that's what makes it work.
And he's not afraid to even make fun of himself or look silly.
Yeah, like his hair was driving me crazy this whole movie because it's like it's just and I'm like, comb your hair, dude. And then I realized it's comb. That's what he's doing. Would you stop?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to throw one of them out.
No, it's gonna have to be her.
Okay, Sabini, we're gonna have to throw you out. Come here. Just feed her popcorn.
There are some jokes that fall flat. It's like any other comedy. It's like one of my big issues with this movie isn't the movie so much being funny or not. It follows some very generic comedic tropes. You know exactly where it's going. You know where it's going to end.
But there are some funny lines, funny one-liners, and I was cracking up because it's like, I got it. It's just random.
But there's also that heartfelt stuff. But there's a lot of stuff like you said during the movie. You're like, why would these people go with these people? Why would they do this with these people? Would you do this? So then it does, depending on your mentality of that, make it a little harder to buy into.
Yeah. Because I totally asked him, like, if we just met this couple and they're like, oh, hey, come on, we rented a boat, come with us. I'd be like, kind of suspect.
Where I said I would do it if we had been talking, kind of loosely hanging out with them for a couple of days.
I know, but you would never do that.
What?
Well, actually, you would randomly talk to people.
Yeah. Especially if they look like they were going to put out or something.
Because this one time when we took the cruise, like, you didn't want to sit at the big table with the different couples.
No.
So I went and changed our table to a table of 4. So we only sat with the other couple we knew.
I don't like that at Benihana either, or
I know.
Kyoto, where you have to sit with other people.
Please excuse me while I kick a dog out of the room.
Mostly because it's more at dinner time like that than anything else. I don't necessarily mind a party, mingling. I don't like it that much because I don't like being bothered, but I don't like sitting down having a meal with people that I came to have a meal with and then have to share with somebody else because I don't have anything to talk to these people about, and I'm not.
Well, now I want to go get.
I'm not interested in meeting these people because I went to dinner with a group of people. You know what I mean? And so, like, we're on the cruise. I didn't want to be on the cruise in the first place, so it was like going to sit at a table with a bunch of people and being like, I gotta watch these weirdos eat mashed potatoes and they're weird kids, and I'm like, I don't know you people. You know,
you're no fun.
But if we're out hanging out and we're at a party and we meet people and we start to talk, like I've had to go to some of your dumb social events.
But they didn't give you cocaine margaritas.
Well, then the party would kick on. Those are people you know you want to hang out with because they're willing to not only have fun, to share the love.
Anyway, madness ensues. It is really funny. I really enjoyed it.
It is funny, and I could watch it again. It's not. And when I say my issues with some of the joke falling flat, that's kind of par for the course for most comedies.
Yeah.
You rarely get a comedy that hits every mark.
Free Guy.
I said rarely, and I don't think Free Guy hit every mark.
It did for me. I was over the top laughing, like hilarious.
Which this is I'd like to point out. I don't know if you'll remember this or not. This is a very funny, ironic twist in life. Maybe the pandemic did this to you.
I don't like comedy anymore.
Because for a long time you found nothing funny.
I didn't.
You got to where you just didn't like comedies
I only liked
much.
that Amy Schumer movie.
You almost didn't like any comedy we were watching. You didn't want to watch horror films anymore, anything else. And it's somewhere, maybe after you had COVID, you changed.
My taste buds changed.
Because suddenly you're like laughing randomly at things. You're wanting to watch more funny stuff. You're not as much of a pain in the ass all the time.
I've been watching all these horror movies with you.
I know.
Oh my gosh, we watched all 8 of the whatever the Insidious thing or whatever they're called. Not
Conjuring.
Conjuring. Oh my god! In a week,
yes,
I could not sleep all week. Oh my gosh, I was freaking out.
We still got 2 more Candyman movies.
That Nun was the. Oh, I'm ready to watch Candyman. But
okay, so anyway, Vacation Friends is available now on Hulu. It was originally.
Did anyone get run over by a car? That's what was missing.
No. A car did run over things.
Yeah.
Now I will say that one of the most clever moments, and I called it too, is there is a homage to a Beastie Boys video. That they nailed it. Not only did they use the aesthetic of it, but then they even played the song because I was telling her as it comes on.
You're like, this is the video.
Like, this is exactly like the what you want video. And then they started playing the song. I'm like, so anyway, it is a funny movie. Give it a chance if you don't like either one of them guys. Give it a chance anyway. You may have some fun.
John Cena's funny.
He is.
And Lil Rel's funny. He's a comedian, right? Or what is he?
Yeah, he's a comedic actor, but yeah, I think
funny.
He was a comedian first, but. And I like that he went from almost obscurity to suddenly just.
I'm glad. I am so glad.
You know, and he's another one of those that
people are talking about the Fox Hunt. They liked it.
He's been doing like a variety of stuff. You know, he did Get Out. Then he shifts over to do a comedy. You know, then he did the what was it called, the Bad Trip, where it was like the Jackass style comedy.
Well, he had his own little TV show for a while, which was funny.
Loved it. Didn't make it past first. It was him and
but it was really good.
Yeah. So anyway, but we really we're Lil Rel fans here.
We're Lil Rel
in the Blakey household.
And John Cena comedy or wrestling.
I like John Cena in action too. He's
getting there.
He's got to find his thing. And I also want to give props to John Cena too about an interview. Dave Bautista, who most everybody knows, who was also a wrestler first, and then he became this big actor. And he's probably on par with The Rock on his level of roles that he's taken, anywhere from, you know, he's got Doom coming out. He was Drax. He was in the Riddick movie. He was in Blade Runner movie. Mm-hmm. He's been in a lot of stuff, and he's done the same thing where he's done the comedy, you know. But he made a statement that a lot of people he got backlash for, that he had no interest in working with John Cena or The Rock in a movie. And John Cena. Somebody asked you about it because, you know, all of them came from that same wrestling, not only the same wrestling, but the same company and worked with each other. He basically made a statement of paraphrasing that he was disappointed in that because he'd love to do something with him, but he also completely understood because he's trying to carve out his own niche and his own acting and do his own thing and not always be associated with the wrestling. Mm-hmm. And if you put those guys together, the first thing you're thinking is, look, it's a wrestling
movie.
You know, so I also applaud Cena for recognizing, because that could have been easy, like, well, because he thinks he's too good for its mentality. So anyway, Cena, all 3 of these guys seem like just really nice people too. They may not be, I don't know, between The Rock, John Cena, and Batista.
I think they're all nice people.
They all seem like nice people. Batista seems to be the one that's a little more hard-edged, but I think he's been through more than some of these other people.
We need to get caught up on our show so we can go watch him and see.
But I also say, I always go back to when Batista messaged me on Facebook one time after the Riddick movie, the third Riddick movie came out, because I wrote a review on it. We liked the movie, and he sent me a message thanking me for not only a positive review for the movie, but also for not attacking Vin Diesel, because that was around the time people were attacking him, taking personal jabs at him for stuff. And he was like, thank you for judging the movie based on the movie and not anything else in life.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with them.
You know,
we tried.
I thought we were best friends, but I haven't heard from him since.
Well, Lil Rel liked my stuff, so.
You didn't even know until I told you, fool.
We're best friends now.
And I have met John Cena in person. He was super nice.
Was he nice? Is he gigantic?
He is gigantic. You don't remember the picture I have?
I had to go see it.
I'll have to pull it.
Are you in his armpit?
I don't know. It might still be on my phone.
Who was that guy I took a picture with that had to stand on a chair? Because we couldn't even get in the same frame, but he was so big.
That was Tony. That was one of the demons from Buffy.
Like, he was so tall, like standing next to him, you couldn't get both of us in the picture. I had to stand on a chair. Oh, he is tall. He's like a whole lot taller.
I don't know if, let me see if I can make it where y'all can see it.
Go stand up on the camera.
Here, I'll show you. So this is a few years back. So can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Oh, that's nice. He's a little bit tall.
He's a tall guy. He's a super nice guy. This, believe it or not, do you remember where this was at?
Where was that?
I did. It was a press junket, and I went to do it, and I interviewed him.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
The weirdest location to interview somebody. Take a wild guess where you think it was at. Or where you would think I would interview John Cena at.
I think it'd be in like a hotel or something.
You'd be horribly incorrect.
That's normally
one more shot.
The phone company. I don't know.
That probably makes as much sense. He was at the JCPenney.
Was he signing?
He had an autograph signing, but he was promoting something.
Some clothing line, maybe?
Maybe. I don't even remember why we were there. They asked me if you want to interview John Cena. I was like, yes, I do. And I just drove out there.
Go to the JCPenney.
And what's even crazier was at the one, it was at the JCPenney on.
Is it not there anymore?
No, I think it's still there. It's the one, what is that street? Not Skillman. Maybe it is Skillman. The one where it veers off before you go to North Park, in that thing where Walmart and all that. It's right there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It was just the weirdest place
That's
to
random.
be. It's like, and I remember what's funny is we went in there. I went to where they told us to go, and it was in like a weird jewelry section or something of the store, but it was like a separate looking little place. And they're like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "It sounds weird, but I'm here to interview John Cena." She's like, "John Cena's here," and I'm like.
That's what they told me.
I'm like, she goes, okay, wait. And then somebody else came in. I'm like, okay, good. I don't feel crazy. I thought maybe I went to the wrong place. And then they had to walk us to a whole other section of the store. And there was around these lines. And it was just a whole ordeal. It was crazy. Anyway, he was super nice.
All right, then.
This was before he did a bunch of bigger movies. He was still more hardcore.
Okay, go watch Vacation Friends. It's on Hulu. All right. Moving on. We got one more.
All right. So the last one is the #1 movie in the country right now. That was expected to gross in the teens, ended up being over $20 million.
Yep.
With a $25 million budget, so it made almost its own budget back in the first weekend.
There you go.
Which is the new Candyman, which is they're classifying it as a spiritual sequel, but it's technically a direct sequel. So
spoiler.
It's not really a spoiler. I mean, if you call it a spiritual sequel, people understand that there's some connection there.
There's some connection.
They're basically doing what the new Halloween movie did, connecting it to the original Halloween and ignoring all the sequels. So we have the new Halloween, the direct sequel to the original Halloween. So this one has essentially a sequel to the original Candyman. Ignoring Candyman 2 and 3.
Yeah.
It's directed by Nia DaCosta. It was written and co-written and produced by Jordan Peele. There's the newest horror icon now with Get Out and Us, Twilight Zone, all that stuff. And so I wasn't sure. I was a big fan of Candyman, like a lot of the other people. The original movie is okay. It's really Tony Todd that's the movie. Yes. It makes it really good. You had said you had never saw the original.
I'd never seen the original, so I was glad we watched it. We watched it before going to see the new one.
You haven't seen the second two yet?
No, we're going to watch that tonight, I guess.
Oh, okay.
We'll watch part 2.
I think part 2 is called Farewell to the Flesh, I believe. Anyway. So the first Candyman you now have seen, came out in what, 1992? 92, the year I graduated high school.
Wow.
So what did you think of Candyman?
I really liked it. It's a little bit strange, I guess, in the storytelling if you go straight in not knowing anything. But then in the titles, in the credits, I saw Clive Barker. And hey, that's Pinhead.
Yeah,
and you're like, yeah, he wrote this. And so it's
based on a story.
Based on something he wrote. And I'm like, oh, this now makes so much sense because the storytelling is similar to the Pinhead, whatever. Hellraiser. It's very similar in style and tone and even mannerisms of dialogue. Well, and I think not a whole lot, but there's a little here and there.
I think a lot of people forget on both Hellraiser and Candyman, in the first ones, Pinhead and Candyman aren't in the movie that much. It's other characters dealing with them. It's not till their sequels where they became more front and center.
Yes, and it's exactly.
It's just like Friday the 13th was like that. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street was kind of like that. The originals. It's not till those killers become popular that they shove them to the front.
So I think if you're into all the Hellraiser stuff, you're gonna like Candyman. And I did not find it to be scary. I know some people, I've given them grief about it, or like, oh, it was so scary.
But you also have to.
But also, it was 90s.
Yeah, 92.
And at that point, would have been high school. I probably would have been.
That movie was. I remember the movie being way creepier than it was when I've revisited it numerous times over the years. I'm like I said, I just always the iconic look of Tony Todd as Candyman and the trench coat and the bloody stump and the hook and the nails in the hook.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Those all in his voice, which is his real voice. He's another one that's a super nice guy. I met him in one of the Frightmare, or not Frightmare, but the one that was before Texas Horror Weekends or whatever, before they merged.
Yeah.
I got to meet him, and you walk up to him, you want to talk to him, and then he's like, that rumbling voice, and then he stands up, and he's another one that's
super tall, man.
He's super tall, and I was there with Tony Brown. And,
I love Tony Brown.
We got got talking to him and about a project and things like this, and it was anyway.
Man, I really enjoyed the first one. For a second, I thought it was the lady from X-Files, but it's not. It's the other one. It's Virginia Madsen, who looks similar.
Yes.
And I really liked it. I dug it. I understood kind of where they were going. And I was like, okay, so it's like a vengeful possessing spirit, I guess. And so we go through the story and unravel, and it's lightly touched on in the first one what happened to Candyman, the dude.
Or whatever.
Yeah, to make him become the Candyman legend. And it's in, we get the story that he was beaten up by some white men.
They loving a white woman.
Yes, they cut off his arm. They stuck the thing in it. The bees stung him, and then
they covered him in honey
and bees, and they burned him. And
so
all
it was a whole racial
thing. But you don't get as much of that in the old one as you do in the new one.
Yeah. Now the new one, when they say spiritual sequel, we're not going to spoil anything. We're not going to say how it's connected. There are some connections to the original film, which is why it's actually pretty important to watch the original.
Yeah, watch the first one.
If you're watching the new one. And even by doing that, if you don't pay close attention, you could still miss it.
Yeah.
And again, I can't really explain how they connect that because that's part of what's kind of cool about it. You're like, oh my gosh,
because we're in the movie, we're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh. And then it goes like, oh.
Complete with a young lady, so you don't think I'm thinking of somebody else. A young lady character who's the same actress is back.
Yes,
playing the same character.
I love when you get the same person.
Yeah, so that was kind of a cool twist. This new one, where the first one deals with that very little, but you're dealing with the impact of the interracial couple and the racism, and that's why he's murdered. Even though that's not the full front and center.
Yeah, we're
of the
really
movie.
Dealing with Virginia Madsen's story.
Yeah, but
investigating.
But it's all encompassing of that. And I want to say the later to Candyman, you get a little more in depth to that racist stuff. There's always been this race component background to the story, despite the horror stuff.
Correct.
The new one is the same way, dealing with more of the gentrification of neighborhoods and things, but it's still that same encompassing idea.
And I feel like horror is a great way to deal with those issues, and especially knowing that Jordan Peele was involved.
Yeah, after seeing Get Out and Us.
Like very much dealing with that. And it is a horror thing to live through that. It's horrific what people have been going
and
through.
I was really, I'm not going to lie, this movie was supposed to come out last year. It got pushed because of COVID. I was very concerned without having Tony Todd as Candyman if this movie was going to work. And I was really surprised, especially I knew a couple people that hated this movie, immensely hated this movie. And I respect everybody's opinion. And this individual, I respect his opinion. We agree on a lot of movies, and I was like, oh no, before I watched it, and I'm like, what, it was nothing, absolutely everything was horrible about this movie. I'm like, dang it. But then some other people I know saw it, and they were like, this is one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. And I'm like, okay, it's much like every other horror film, it's going to be very subjective.
Yeah.
You're either in or you're not. You like it, you hate it. And I appreciate all those things. So I went in kind of with this neutral mentality of what am I going to think? And I already had that, like I said, that Tony Todd in my mind. I'm like, Tony Todd's not here as Candyman. I don't know if I care. And as it plays out, it is a little slow in pacing at times, sometimes necessary, sometimes I'm like, come on, let's get it moving. But it ended up working really well for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the direction they went. I like the idea of where they took the Candyman idea.
Mm-hmm.
There is a nod to Tony Todd's aspect of the Candyman. There's stuff, so it's like the past is not forgotten, but it's set its own course.
Mm-hmm.
And while it is a little bit by the numbers, it's not wholly original. Yeah. It's enough for me that it felt like it embellished the franchise to something kind of fresh and new.
Yeah, I agree.
And could move forward and do new things.
I agree, because it gave us more substance than just the Tony Todd guy of Candyman. It gave us more. And there's another story, there's another story, another story. Just like today, there are many stories that we see in our current times of Black people who have been wrongfully killed.
Yeah.
It's similar. So I can see now some people not liking it because they're going to be like, oh, you're pushing all this stuff in my face.
And somebody mentioned that, well, who's the people that aren't going to like this movie are probably the old white dudes. I don't fully agree with that not because I'm a white dude, but
I'm not old.
There's an element that some people, when they watch the movies, you have to, especially reviewers. I think reviewers get a bad rap sometimes because there are reviewers that just purposely hate everything.
Yeah.
And there's other reviewers that
we know that guy.
Yeah. There's other reviewers that just love cinema and they love everything. I'm one of those people that I probably love way more than most people do because I just love movies. I love everything about them. I always try to find a positive spin on the worst thing. There's movies that everybody I know hates, and I'm like, what? The movie was awesome. I've gotten in stupid arguments with people about horrible movies, but then I also always agree, or most of the time will agree on these classics that people love, and I love them too. But there's always like, I don't know how you watch that. Like Wizard of Oz, I don't get it.
I love it.
I appreciate it, what they did with make that movie at the time it was made, but I still find it horribly boring. But I recognize what it is, and I recognize what it did for the industry. But I think all the subjection of that, I don't always think it has to be about, because this is a Black film director, or this is a predominantly Black cast, this is a Black urban legend, which is one of the big differences between this and the original. The original was the white woman leading the story amidst the Black cast. This is a Black cast. Was there any white people in this movie? The white people were only the police officers, right?
Correct. Because
there were some of the art people, and there was
some of those, but mostly the police, because we're dealing with that issue.
Yeah, and it's predominantly a Black cast, so sometimes people aren't going to connect with it the same way. Like some people may watch this movie, they just want to see Candyman kill people, they just want to see the horror elements. They're not going to catch the gentrification and the other stuff, and then in turn that makes the reasoning and things that happen not as impactful. If you're not connected to that depth.
I was super connected from the beginning the story starts off with this little boy playing with puppets, but the story he's telling is a Black man being chased by police, and they're like, don't move. And what do I do? Do I put my hands up? That got me at the immediate beginning, 5 minutes in. I'm like, how sad is that this little boy, that's the story he's telling himself.
Well, it kind of makes me sad too, because the country or world, however you want to look at it, more our country than any other places in the world, has gotten to this place where there's the divide of, and I'm not even talking about the racial divide. I'm talking about the divide of people that feel, well, all this race stuff is shoved down my throat. If it's a movie or a story or a song, and it's dealing with what's happening, and you don't agree with that, then it's immediately being shoved down your throat. Don't get me wrong. There are times where I see a movie and stuff, whether it's about sexuality or race tensions or politics, and I'm like, okay, I don't like you forcing in there. I like the natural progression. Unless I'm sitting down to watch a documentary about that, then I expect it. But I think if it's somebody, I'm not talking about my friend because I don't think he thinks this way, but in case he's watching, but if it's somebody who's already said, I hate Black Lives Matter, there's cops are doing no wrong, I don't know why y'all think this, there's nothing wrong, they're going to see this movie and be like, ugh.
This again.
Yeah. It's the same people that used to just assume that movies like Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood and all this, that's real Black culture. Mm-hmm. And while it is, that is an element. Of it. Yeah. That's not everything. That's like, you may not know this, you'll see it later on in the interview, but that's one of the reasons like Ice Cube made the movie Friday. Because he said, why is all of our culture and life and movies being portrayed as this horrible gang death? He goes, I thought we had a blast in the hood. And so he wanted to show that other side of the fun they were having as well. And that's kind of this. It has that depth.
Because all these characters in this film, they're Black, but they're all pretty, affluent. They have really well-paying jobs. They have beautiful homes. They
had a nice gamut of, like, you had a homosexual character. You had a guy who kind of worked his way up. You had somebody that was already kind of high-fluting, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, they're all doing really well. But
then you had the people in the poor
neighborhoods. Then you had the poor
neighborhoods.
So it's all over the place. But the thing that unifies all these people is the Black experience in America right now and what's happening. And, this movie is like, just because we're living in a condo doesn't mean the ghetto's gone. It's just been gentrified. So we're dealing with all that the idea that, some building company decided we can make it better, but not realizing that those are the same people that built the projects to make the people live there. But now they're going to change.
But,
so
it goes into the people that don't believe that actually happened.
It's a very deep story, you guys. Hidden behind a slasher movie. I didn't think it was scary.
It's not.
I thought the scary part was the horrific things that happened to real life people.
There are some creepy elements. Now
things.
I can see how some people with the ending that they did, which I enjoyed the ending, but I can also see how people might really love the movie and then get to the ending and be like, really, that's where we went? Because it did suddenly go from a fairly deep message thing to then suddenly somebody was like, oh crap, we're making this horror flick, we got to wrap it up and then go back to the legend of Candyman, and they did some different stuff. I enjoyed it that way. I liked what they did, but I can see it's kind of like the Suicide Squad movie, the first one, where the first part of the movie to me is really good, and then all of a sudden it became Ghostbusters at the end. They suddenly remember, but I can go on that later. It's like the whole director's cut situation thing. But anyway, go ahead.
My favorite part of this movie is the credits because it's so.
Because it was over?
No, they go back to the pepper tree thing, and that is such an interesting way to tell a story because we get so much story in the credits. So sit through the entire credits.
Yeah, the credits are not very long.
Please be open-minded and just accept the stories they're telling you.
And the whole credit is this like stick puppet show, like she's saying.
It's amazing.
And by the time you finish watching and it's over, the credits are over, and you're like, wait. And then it even has, if you didn't sit through the whole thing, which some people that hate it probably got up and left, it even put up a thing that I didn't expect to pop up about racial issues. Or
go to candyman.com/social justice. And when you go to the website, it has some behind the scenes interview with the cast. And it also is spotlighting several Black artists and painters because that's part of the movie, dealing with an artist. It's actually a really interesting website. And
who would have thought
Candyman social justice? I'm like, okay.
Who would have thought the movie Candyman would have spawned social justice discussions?
You know what?
And I could be wrong on what I'm about to say because I did see something about it, but I'm hoping I'm wording it the right way. I also believe that Nia DaCosta, who is I believe a female Black filmmaker, she was the first. I don't know if it's horror or female or both Black filmmaker to have a #1 film.
Oh, good
something
for her.
There was something in that realm. So I apologize to her and to anybody involved if I got it wrong. But there was something came up that was saying that she was the first to do something.
Social impact initiative. I'm gonna put a link. It's candymanmovie.com/impact.
Can I also say this is kind of a spoiler, but not really. But there's this great makeup in one sequence.
Oh my gosh!
They since there's bees involved, I'm going to
kind of explain it. Good.
Since bees are involved with the Candyman more. There's this great sequence where you just see somebody's deformity of something that's happening. But whoever did that makeup and that worked on this movie, big props because the skin looked like a beehive.
It was so cool.
It was cool looking.
It was so cool.
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah, so there some people discussing the impact of Black horror, going beyond trauma to celebrate resilience.
This is one of those movies that you can watch it for what it is.
Watch it for horror. Fine.
Not see the depth of the other part of the story. I can see people not seeing it. I can see people not connecting with it.
Look at
in that way.
That's where I went immediately, and I was, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Look, people did art based on the movie. I saw it, I'm not trying to say I'm more involved than other people, but being in an interracial marriage, having having a best friend that's illegal.
Having a best friend that's gay, who's also in an interracial marriage.
I've
been around this. I know. I've been around, and I was raised around
rule breakers,
a lot of different cultures, not necessarily white people. So I kind of. I don't relate from a standpoint of I'll always be a white person. I can't change that. Although the movie Soul Man told me I could, but I can't change that or the feeling. But I always try to relate in the support mentality of being friends and knowing these people and seeing what because we've been through situations where it was kind of racist type situations. We've been through things where I didn't notice anything was going on. She did, and vice versa.
And then I didn't notice anything was going on in Missouri until you told me.
Yeah, which is funny because we were driving through Missouri, and I'm the one that noticed. I have not seen another person of color since we drove into this state. She's just happy driving along.
And
I'm the one that's like, this is not okay.
Thank you for being aware.
And we have a friend from there, and I remember texting them, and they were like, welcome to Missouri. It was like they didn't even bat an eye. Like, don't talk about my state or anything else.
This painting is like it's like police, hate, deception.
I'll have to show you one.
This is so sad. I'm gonna cry.
That you want to see that.
Anyway,
Candyman is exclusively in theaters now.
Go check it out.
If you want to watch the other Candyman movies and you don't have them, go get Tubi. I believe all three of them are on Tubi. Tubi, and I don't want to pay for a streaming service. You don't have to. It's a free service. You just download.
See, Thomas Howell disagrees with what?
I'm assuming he's talking about Soul Man. No, I'm assuming he's saying that I can't turn into a black person. That's why I said Soul Man, because that's the movie where he makes himself black.
Oh goodness! Don't do that.
That is a movie that would not get made today.
Anyhow, check out Candyman. It is not scary. I promise you. It's just really interesting.
Well, let's not say that because that is subjective.
I didn't feel like it was scary.
I found it more to be a horror thriller.
I felt like the horrors described in the movie and real life are more scary, which is sad. Okay. Now, let's get to your section, babe. What do we got?
Oh, can I just point out one of my friends is watching Candyman right now, and is at the Alamo Draft House. So they have, this is their drink specials. Because they always do fun drink specials. They have one called The Writing on the Wall.
Oh, no.
And they also have one called Shandyman.
Yeah, because you don't want to say the other name. Don't say it.
And it's The Writing on the Wall is a Terramana Reposada tequila, honey syrup, lemon, mezcal, and finished with bitters. And then the Shandyman is bourbon, ginger, liqueur, marigold tea, lemon, honey syrup.
They went all in with the honey.
Belgian style wheat beer. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. I'm not even ready for my part.
You better get ready, sister. No.
Guys, stop.
Stop, sister. We're trying
okay. Oh my gosh. Our very unprofessional show. We apologize.
Come on, you guys.
Bye. Poor thing. All right.
We're wrapping it up anyway.
Tell me what's coming out on the bids and the divs.
Well, I wasn't ready.
Okay. Well.
I mean, I'm ready, but hold on, let me shift back over. I'm sorry.
He's not ready.
All right, so this week on the Blu-ray and the DVD, there's a variety of things. One, Spirit Untamed, the movie that we just talked about today.
Check it.
The musical In the Heights.
Oh, cool.
Blu-ray and DVD. It looks like the Raven movie with John Cusack is getting released again on Blu-ray, or for the first time, I don't know. I believe Shout Factory is putting it out. The Box Trolls and Coraline Leica Studios editions are coming out.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Fear the Walking Dead, the complete 6th season. I didn't even know that show was still going on.
Yes.
Because I bailed on it. And Mortal Kombat Legends, the second film in the series, the animated film, Battle of the Realms is coming out. It is the sequel to Scorpion's Revenge that came out last year.
Okay.
Those are the big ones coming out.
All right. Coming out on the line or in the theater. So Thursday, there's a movie on Netflix called Afterlife of the Party. It's got Victoria Justice. I don't know what they're doing, but it looks like a crazy party thing in a VIP room, and something goes awry. Okay. Then coming out Friday, the movie we've all been waiting for, Cinderella.
That's the big one coming out.
That's the big one coming out with, what's her name, Cabello? Camilla Cabello.
I can't think of anything bigger than that.
James Corden, Pierce Brosnan, Minnie Driver, Billy Porter. That's the big one. Dresses by Ella. So that's going to be on Prime Video. Actually, the big movie that we're all waiting for is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
And it is now, for those of you that grew up like myself and it was Shang-Chi, apparently Marvel has decided it's Shang-Chi.
That's probably the correct
It probably was, but we all grew up calling it Shang-Chi for our entire lives, and so now we all have to change, and it's super annoying.
And what's the guy's name?
This is the picture I was telling you my friend did.
Yeah.
And that was during all that stuff.
Exactly. What's the main guy's name? Shang-Chi?
Samuel Liu, Liu.
Okay. So
he is from, it was also this one too.
Michelle Yeoh, Aquafina, there's a bunch of
he's
cool
from
people
Kim's Convenience.
Yes, love him.
That was his big thing. He's already in some...
I'm just excited to see Michelle Yeoh doing some stuff, because just in the trailer, that one little kung fu form thing that she's doing is amazing. I have a feeling
she's probably not going to do a lot.
Okay, but that's what she did, right? Was kung fu?
Yeah, it was like, it could be kung fu, tai chi, or something. Yeah.
No, but what is she actually trained in?
So I don't know for sure, but from what I've always understood, she's not even a martial artist. She was a dancer.
Oh, that explains so
and
much.
Then she started doing the movies. I'm sure she trains in something, either did or has since. But she started doing some of the Jackie Chan movies, the action movies with Cynthia Rothrock and things like this. I don't believe she was originally. I could be completely wrong. I'll look up and tell you while you're talking about your other
Okay,
stuff.
next coming to Netflix, a movie called JJ&E about John and Elizabeth coming together, but can they break through social and class barriers? We'll find out. Let's see, Netflix, a movie called Worth, starring Michael Keaton, Stanley Tucci. I'm in. I don't even know what this movie's about. Have you seen this one? Worth with Michael Keaton and Stanley Tucci? Who knows? This looks cool, wherever that's going to be. There's a lot of limited release movies. I'm just bringing out the big ones that are coming in wide release. So that's pretty much it. I think everybody's either going to be watching Cinderella with their kids, or they're going to be watching Shang-Chi in the theater with the rest of us. Next.
So just so you're shifting back to Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
She studied at the UK's Royal Academy of Dance in London.
Okay.
But it's majored in ballet, but then she got a spinal injury that prevented her becoming a professional ballet dancer.
Too bad.
She transferred her attention to choreography and other arts, and then she got a BA degree in creative arts with a minor in drama. She did a commercial with Jackie Chan, which caught the attention of the Hong Kong film production, and then she shifted over into martial arts films. And
it's been going ever since, because she looks awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready? Talk about the giveaways, babe.
She was also they had changed her name back then to Michelle Khan. Oh. They thought that was more marketable to U.S. people.
No.
Then she eventually changed her name back to Michelle Yeoh.
Love it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at something real quick. All right. Anyway, what were you asking me?
Giveaways. Tell us about the giveaways.
We're still doing that? We're still giving away crap?
We're giving away stuff. Starting with?
We're still got a few copies of The Conjuring 3 to give away.
That one's really good.
Also, one coming out this week. In the Heights.
It's not working for me.
What are you doing, sister? In the Heights, the musical extravaganza.
I do think Conjuring's scary.
Do what?
I do think Conjuring's scary.
Oh.
They are scary.
And for those that know me, no, I'm not a huge musical fan, but I actually ended up enjoying this movie. It's also one that didn't get the release it deserved. I think it would have done a lot better. It deserved a bigger release, but it was mid-COVID, so it didn't get the recognition. So if you haven't seen it, you can check it out. Those Who Wish Me Dead, Angelina Jolie fighting fire for some reason. The Fatal Raid, which I talked about today. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Why is it stuck?
Oh, did it just kick us offline?
It just kicked. No, it just stopped playing.
Okay, I'll just keep talking.
You keep talking.
Are we still on the line?
We're still on the line.
All right. The Fatal Raid, which I talked about today. Also, a copy of the Harry Potter Magical Movie Edition. We lost our special effects all of a sudden.
Sorry.
We keep moving on.
That's fine.
And lastly, of course, Spirit Untamed that we talked about on the show today. And there's a couple of new ones that should pop up this week. as well as flowers and computers and whatever shows up on the screen.
Yeah,
right
sorry guys. That's okay. It went away.
But that's all. In the coming days, I may, if I have, maybe bringing back Martial Art Movie Monday.
Nice.
I've been on a full-on martial art movie film.
You have. You've been doing marathons.
Well, I am testing in 2 weeks, and I also have 3 of my young students testing for their first degree black belts. And so, as part of my own mental focus, I'm taking journeys into various martial arts films that either inspired me as I grew up or just that I enjoy. Some of them actually I've not seen that were sequels. So I just finished the kickboxer marathon. I'm face deep in a blood sport marathon, and let me tell you, I have things to say. Because I haven't seen all of the sequels to all of them. And people might say kickboxer series, blood sport series. There's only one of each with Van Damme. I can tell you there is not. There is 5 kickboxers and there are 4 blood sports. So
crazy. Anyways,
anyway, I'll be diving into some Cynthia Rothrock things and more Van Damage and Mark DeCosto says because we're going to watch some Only the Strong.
Okay then. Well, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live.
We make all your dreams come true.
We got free stuff. All right. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.
Peace and love.
Bye.